The writing may be on the wall, but that hasn't stopped residents of Mumbai's Campa Cola society from putting in a last-ditch effort at preventing the municipality from demolishing their illegally constructed apartments. Now, the Supreme Court has already made it clear that the apartments have to be demolished, but with residents here forming human chains as the last line of defense, the situation remains tense. Cashing in on the distress of these families who will soon be out of a home were political parties taking pot shots at each other.
Emotional pleas, human barricades, and even seeking divine intervention. High drama once again at Mumbai's Campa Cola compound. Illegal flat owners blocked the gate, refusing to let the civic body comply with the Supreme Court's orders to demolish illegal floors.
We don't have any other place to stay. Don't break our houses. Just give us few more months until the monsoons are done. Please don't break our homes.
We're going to stand right here till the time that we have our breaths going on. We're going to be standing here. If they want, they can walk over us and enter.
Netas cutting across party lines once again descended, backing residents and blaming one another.
These residents had submitted 2 to 3 proposals to the BMC, but there seems to be no proactive step by the BMC to see and work out an amicable solution.
Statutory powers of the Chief Minister is something that he has not used.
That's because the Maharashtra government says their hands are tied.
Supreme Court has ruled that the demolition must be carried out, and also they ruled that no state authority shall intervene. We need to be very strong.
Exasperated, outnumbered, civic officials finally left.
At 4 p.m, the second attempt by the BMC to enter the Campa Cola compound to begin demolition proceedings. But they were unsuccessful yet again.
कभी कोई भी झोपड़पट्टी टूटता है तो कोई भी नेता आता है क्या ऐसा है तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जो आदेश दिया है उसका पालन होना चाहिए.
A human tragedy versus the writ of the Supreme Court of India. That's the bitter truth surrounding today the Campa Cola compound issue. And these illegal flat owners indeed have got a breather, but it's only for a few days. For the BMC says they will be back to ensure that the orders of the highest court in India are indeed implemented. With Saurabh Gupta in Mumbai, Tejas Mehta for NDTV.
So it's actually just a matter of time at this stage. There were those protests which, as you saw, were taking place, but the writing seems to be on the wall. Those illegal apartments will be demolished. What happens to all of those families who've been affected? And at this stage, is there anything to be done? Joining us to look at this, Majid Memon, National Secretary of the NCP, Shaina NC, spokesperson of the BJP, also with us, Chandrasekhar Prabhu, an expert in urban development, to look at the larger issue of illegal constructions in Mumbai. Vidya Srinivas and Nandini Mehta also with us. They're both residents of the Campa Cola compound. Let me in fact come to Vidya first. Vidya, you do realize that if the Supreme Court has made up its mind, it's issued an order, it's now just a matter of time. One understands that you'll be out of a home and it's a desperate situation for you. But what can you realistically hope to achieve at this stage?
First of all, when the Supreme Court asked our lawyer, the Supreme Court has 3 times come back and said that the state can intervene and something can be done to save our apartments. And they also said that we could come to offer some plans which we placed in front of the Supreme Court, but the BMC refused to accept them. They said that they would not accept it in form and substance, and they were not willing to agree to it. So right now, yes, we are stranded. We are at a position where we stand to lose our homes, but we're still hoping. We have a curative petition, and we're hoping that will at least get us some justice. And right now, but all we can do at present is fight, and we are not willing to give up our flats.
Majid Memon, as a lawyer yourself, is there anything that can be done at this stage? We heard the Chief Minister a little while earlier on in that story saying no state authority can interfere. It's an order of the Supreme Court. So are your hands bound completely at this stage?
Now, Vishnu, first, I have just heard Vidya and I have all my sympathies for her. Let me tell her through your medium that what you are saying now is that we will not give up, we will fight. Now this kind of physical fight on the street or trying to just shut down the gates and prevent the BMC or police authorities to enter your compound, I don't think would get you the desired results, nor would it get you any justice as you are expecting. With the highest respect to you, I must tell you that, well, the only course open for you now at this juncture is that all of you, this is what I have been saying from morning, from yesterday itself, that, well, all of you should rush to Supreme Court immediately. Tell the Supreme Court that on humanitarian grounds, that on account of impending monsoon in Mumbai, give us at about 12 weeks time. Supreme Court might agree, on you are giving some undertaking that you will not ask for further time. You can get some breathing space on humanitarian ground only to protect you from the danger of being dishoused on the eve of advent of monsoon. I think this appears to be the only way out for you. The course that you have adopted in the morning, you and several others, all of them, we have got highest respect and sympathies. But unfortunately, you have lost the legal battle at the highest stage, and therefore nobody can surpass Supreme Court. Once Supreme Court has said, whatever Supreme Court suggested in the course of hearing, as you said just now, that your lawyers were told that the state could do that, that stage is gone. Now the Chief Minister has also made it very clear that the states have been in fact warned. Politicians have also been warned specifically not to intervene, and this is only a matter of implementation of the writ of the highest court of the land. And the officers, both of the BMC as well as the police officers, they may have highest respect and sympathies for you, but they will have to discharge their lawful duty. Okay. And if you obstruct them in their discharge of lawful duty, I am afraid you may invite further action of criminal action of obstructing a public servant from discharge of
Nandini, I think that's
even contempt of court.
Nandini and Vidya,
what they are supposed to do.
He's
what they are supposed to do, Vishnu, just 1 minute
that your
more.
hands
Vishnu,
are bound at
Vishnu,
the stage.
Just 1 minute more.
Why do you want to risk a situation where you could be jailed yourself for obstructing the municipality from carrying out these orders? Is it your intention now to actually rush to the Supreme Court, as Majid Menon suggests?
Yes, Vishnu, that's what we had done. Now the thing is that there was a period of 5 months where the Supreme Court did allow us and give us relief in terms of after the suo motu order in November, the Supreme Court from January until 5th of May, they allowed us on humanitarian grounds to find a solution with the BMC. And then the Advocate General, the Attorney General, Mr. Ghulam Vahanvati, who was representing the BMC, did write letters to Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, who was our senior counsel at that time, saying that please come up with solutions where we can find something constructive as per what has transpired in court, and we will look at the solutions favorably. So what happened was, for 5 months, we continuously, the BMC kept asking for time. They asked for 4 weeks first to study the proposal, then they asked for another 2 weeks, and then another week. So for 5 months we were led on, and we were told, we were hoping, and since the Supreme Court had given an opening, we were hopeful that the BMC would come up with a solution, because just to give you a brief idea, 90,000 square feet is going to be broken. Out of that, 67,000 is sanctioned FSI to us by the Chief Minister order in 2010 and as per the BMC records. So what we thought and what our ask was only that retain whatever is within the FSI limit. What is beyond the FSI limit, we are ready to break. And when this opening was given by the Supreme Court and the Attorney General did ask for the opinion, for the solution, then we assumed that we would definitely somewhere be given justice. Now, to the extent of only what was within the FSI limit. So we were hopeful, and on the 5th of May, the BMC Council turned around and said that we are not in favor of giving any solution to the members. That's when the court said, the judge said that, well, if they are not willing, then the order stands as is. That leaves us exactly 25 days away from the demolition date. Now, we've got close to 60 senior citizens here. Unfortunately, we've had 4 deaths, 2 within a matter of the last 1 week after the BMC started issuing notices. Now, we are running the risk here of 60 senior citizens who don't know how to wrap up their lives of 30 years and move out in 20 days. So what our ask was also to the Chief Minister and also to the BMC is please give us reprieve only
please
till
give us some
the
time.
3 months
Okay,
of the
fine. I just want to
monsoons.
bring in I just want to bring in our other panelists. Shaina, you were there as well, and it's a desperate there's a legal situation on the one hand, and then there is a humanitarian situation on the one hand. We heard you earlier on saying that you were willing to court arrest. To what end are you, what exactly does the BJP aim to achieve by doing that?
We are 100% with the Campa Cola residents, and I'd like to clarify that in Mumbai there are over 1 lakh buildings which don't have occupational certificates. There are over 56,000 buildings which are absolutely similar to Campa Cola. Our appeal is that if the residents are willing to pay the penalties and forfeit some part of the land, why do we have to go through this entire demolition process only for one single housing society? You have a Chief Minister who has only played lip service to this issue. Last week itself he was supposed to speak to the Solicitor General. There has been no response and no reaction. So you have two options here, which is one is to just pass the buck and say let the Supreme Court decide and we are not in a position to intervene, and the other is to use your statutory powers in exceptional cases such as this. You have 6 senior citizens who have died. You have so many more who are on ventilators, who are on stress, who are going through the worst patch of their life. So if you have policies where you amend guidelines for the slums, for example, 1995 changed to 2000, why can't you do the same for this housing society? In 1982, when this building was built, there were 3 fraudulent builders. All 3 have died. You did not take any action against them. You did not take action against the errant BMC officials.
Shaina, these are arguments that have been made over and over again, but the situation now is an impasse. These are arguments which have been heard. They have been heard in Mumbai by courts there. It's been heard by the Supreme Court. It's now a situation where everybody needs to accept that it's gone forward. It's gone beyond that. But I just want to ask Chandrasekhar Prabhu, who's been listening in, a question. And the question is this. On the 19th of May, the residents of a slum in Mulund, Ambedkar Nagar, were served a demolition notice by the collector's office. The notice gave them 24 hours to pack up their belongings and leave. The bulldozers arrived the next morning, 5 hours ahead of the deadline. 130 Pakka homes were razed. 600 people were left homeless. Now, is there a problem in Mumbai where those who are able to seek legal help, who are articulate, can actually prevent or delay demolition? And on the other hand, you've got helpless poor people whose homes get demolished by bulldozers which arrive 5 hours ahead of time.
See, anyone who faces a demolition of their house is helpless, whether he is a resident of a slum or he is a resident of a building such as this one. This is an unfortunate situation which Mumbai faces, where there are hundreds of buildings where there are peculiar situations. Now, I'm a person, despite the Supreme Court's judgment, I have tremendous amount of respect for the Supreme Court and its judgment. Having read the Supreme Court judgment and understood it in its totality, I still am optimistic to find a solution for every single building in Mumbai, such as Campa Cola. There are several solutions can still be explored while understanding and implementing the Supreme Court's judgment, to ensure that every single person who is presently living in Campa Cola compound continues to live there, maybe after a gap of 3 or 4 months or 6 months or whatever, but he gets his legitimate house. And I'm not restricting myself to the people of Campa Cola compound alone. I'm talking on behalf of all those who have been victims of the builders' manipulations and victims of the corruption that's happening in the BMC, wherein permissions are given blatantly and you turn a Nelson eye towards illegal construction when they happen, and at a later stage you kind of become holier than thou and then create a situation.
Right.
Even in Campa Cola compound, let me make it very clear that the Chief Minister of Maharashtra a few months ago has written to the Government of India to permit all buildings lying in the coastal regulatory zone to avail of the 35% fungible FSI which rest of Mumbai avails of. If Campa Cola compound were to be given the advantage of this 35% fungible FSI, and indeed the rest of the buildings in Mumbai which fall under the coastal regulation zone are given this advantage, then the whole problem is solved. That is one solution. Second solution also talks about resubmitting plans on the same place and ensuring that's a bit expensive solution, but to ensure that every single person who is presently living in Campa Cola will continue to live there in perpetuity, albeit after a while by kind of having a bit of demolition and then reconstruction of their buildings. But
well,
somebody needs
these
to
are
do
interesting,
a little bit
these
of
are
a
interesting
sacrifice.
suggestions, and you certainly point out the larger issues over here. We've run out of time. Vidya and Nandini, it's a dreadful situation that you find yourselves in right now, and our sympathies are with you. There is, however, a ruling which is taking place. Nandini, or Vidya, is there any last word as we close this program that you'd like to make? What are you now really going to do?
Well, we're going to continue to fight, and we're just hoping that at least we have gone to the municipal commissioner and to the to the chief minister several times and requested them to at least let us go through the monsoon in these places, because where are we going? We were given 25 days time, and we really don't have a place here. And there are several residents here who cannot afford to rent a place.
Okay.
So we would really appeal to them to at least let us make it through the monsoon.
Okay,
and then they can and negotiate with us.
Okay, Mr. Memon, last
and also my request would be
finally to both Vidya and Nandini. My request to you is that please don't expect that the Chief Minister would rescue you or any other politician would rescue you in this situation. The best course is rush tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock to Supreme Court, ask for some SOS rescuing orders, and I think you will have some breathing space. The manner in which you described that there is possibility of some solution, still you have moved midway and you are not at fault in getting the solution done, and somebody else was not acting, therefore you couldn't reach this deadline. I think Supreme Court was on human consideration, and also advent of monsoon would help you, and if only that is the rescuing line for you, you can't be helped by anybody else. This is my humble request to you, that you may please exploit the possibility of rushing to Supreme Court at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All right, well, let's see what finally happens over here. There is a deadline, one way or the other. It is a desperate situation over there. I'm so sorry, but we've just completely run out of time over here, but this is an issue that we'll continue to revisit very, very closely. It's time now for us to take this short break.